how do we do this? You know, I know things are going to be worse than what we can ever imagine. We can do our best to prepare, but we got to trust in Him for the rest of it. And all our situations are going to be different. And so we got to work with what we have, and stemming off of that, just making a plug for country living, that it'll be easier in the country for sure. And so if you think about not being able to pay your power bill, or, you know, what if your water's tied in with that and you have no other way to get water? What are you going to do? Do the laws allow you to collect water in the city? Is there, you know, neighborhood rules, HOA rules that prohibit some things for you to set up? Some people might not like how your house looks with some of the setups. But anyway, you need to check your local governing rules for what you can do if you are in the city. It's going to be a lot tougher. One example, I know some friends that have water catchment things, and they probably had to go by the local rules for that. And the state of Colorado only allows certain properties to collect up to 110 gallons, which can only be used outdoors. So that's kind of restrictive. You can't use it inside. So being in the country would be a lot simpler. So water is very important. We need water for doing bathrooming things, getting clean, ourselves, personal hygiene. And so for our situation here, since we live in the country, we have a well, and we have installed a hand pump in case the power goes out, that we can draw up some water. And so you want to be able to collect enough of it, because you want to fill some containers such as this for different needs that we'll go through. So another thing to consider too, being out in the country, is that we have a gravity flow septic field. So that's important too if you want to flush your toilet and not have it back up on you. And so those are things to consider as well. So the scenario of no buy and no sell. There's things we need to kind of think about gathering ahead of time so that we can make do. Some things we can find in nature to help us out, but it'll be very handy to get several buckets, these water containers, some of these kind of squeeze bottles. These are perineal spray bottles. It has a postpartum guide on here, but basically you can get some of these, and you want to have enough for each person in your household, maybe a couple for each person. These are easy to use. You can get a couple uses out of them before you fill it up again. So what happens? You can't buy toilet paper anymore. What are we gonna do? So we've all seen the hoarding of toilet paper when COVID came on. You know, either it's not going to be available, or you just can't buy it anyway. So we need some alternatives. A good alternative, let's say if you still have running water available, if you have solar power to help run your pump, you can turn your toilet into a bidet. So there's a couple ways to do that. I found some options online. You can get a whole toilet seat conversion. This is on Amazon, but Home Depot also sells this kind, and it's the cheapest one I found. It's a non-electric bidet seat for elongated toilets. It costs about $92, and you would hook up water supply to the edge of the toilet seat, And so then it will function as a bidet, which is a bidet toilet attachment. So it only goes across the back of the toilet seat. You use your current toilet seat, take it off, and this thing has an arm that goes out and goes over the two bolt things in the back. And then you put your seat on top of that. And it has control knobs on the side. And again, you attach your water line to it. And good to go. That has an attachment to go to the side of your toilet tank. And you hook it up to your water line. And it's also called a bum sprayer or a bum gun. They call it a bum gun online. That's an option too, which would work the equivalent of one of these. So it's just another spray option. The handy part of that is if you could do these or this kind of sprayer if you went to the bathroom and happened to be kind of messy, then you could, if you didn't get it all off yourself and this was too messy, if you wiped yourself with a cloth, you could use a sprayer and spray it off into the toilet and then discard that into your collecting basket in the bathroom. So there's different ways to do things. So this is by far the cheapest thing to do. I'm getting one of these for each person. This packet of 4, I think was $9. So you just want to have these filled up and ready to go, sitting in your bathroom somewhere near the toilet. And then make sure you build up a supply of cloths. So these are just some regular washcloths. The cheap ones that I got at Fred Meyer, cut the tag off and washed them up. And they're soft, very absorbent, very nice. So these work great. And then these we just made ourselves out of some flannel that I got from Goodwill. And I cut 10-inch by 10-inch squares and washed them up, and they do fray a bit on the edges, but I had my girls help me out by sewing in a zigzag stitch around the edges to kind of prevent it from fraying further. So a nice little project to do something like that. So those are some options. These are some thin cloths you can get as well. And I actually got these to be our Kleenexes for our household. So I just found these at Walmart. They're nice and thin. You can carry them around like a handkerchief. And they happen to be multicolors, so that's what I got. So we have a supply of these for everybody to use. Now when you're selecting these cloths, it's good if you find a dark color, of course. It's not going to show stains. So think about that with the cloths you get. If you got white ones, they're going to be harder to wash out. So think of making things easy on yourself the best you can. And what else I got to mention here? Another thing you can do in the bathroom with these cloths, and we've learned about that. You can make it yourself, and what it is a solution that consists of very small silver particles suspended in a liquid, and it's antimicrobial. And so, after you go, or even before you go, if you want, you can spray your cloth, then finish wiping yourself. Or you can just wipe and then spray it off before you put it spray it a little bit before you put it in the container. And it actually can help cut down on odors. So you want to, if you learn how to make colloidal silver, you want to keep it in a dark container, glass preferably, So I ordered these online. They're black glass sprayers. So that's what we're going to use. So I have one of those in the bathroom, and then if you feel like you need it, you can have another sprayer in the bathroom just with straight water if you feel like you need to spray things off a little more than normal. So those are some options. Now what else can we use besides cloths and things? There are things in nature that could help us out. If you've ever been stuck on a trail hiking, or you're not prepared, you don't have anything to go to the bathroom with, you might resort to some leaves nearby. So this is great mullein that we happen to have growing out in our garden. And we're not sure how it got there, but it started growing, and Andrew started just letting it grow and cultivating it. And now we have nice mullein out there that you could use. But basically, we're keeping this too because it's has medicinal properties too. So multi-use. You want to pick a leaf, or even think about growing something that's soft and absorbent like these are. This is actually soft. So basically, if you're going to use leaves, it has to be during the growing season. And they're not going to work dried. So think about what you can have. It's good if you have a perennial that works, that comes back year after year. One good option is lamb's ear. That's very soft and durable, and that lasts quite a while through the season. So that's a good one to get planted. There's other things you can use as well. Some things that have been mentioned are broadleaf plantain, curly dock, cottonwood, even in marshmallow. So those are different options. Otherwise, you resort to whatever you have out there. Just don't pick poison ivy wherever you're from. We don't have that around here, but leaves of 3, let them be. So another thing to think of for women, girls, feminine products, stuff like that. On these bidet attachments, some of them have a front sprayer as well, so you can use front or back. So that's a good option. Of course, these you can use front or back. And a while ago, I outfitted ourselves with some handmade pads, thinking of my girls growing up and possibly needing these sometime. And so I found these online, and I got 3 different sizes. So these ones are larger, that come with a little carry case too. And so I thought these would be fun for my girls because they're so colorful, and maybe that would ease them into using them. But this is a pretty big one. This would be for a nice nighttime version. And then these are some other size ones, kind of basic day use one. They snap together around the other side of your underwear kind of thing. So these can be handmade, of course, too. But I'm going to be thinking of that absorbent material down the center. And these are just some small, thin ones. So there they are. And they're available out there. And otherwise, let's see. So our friend showed us these that you could maybe keep in your car. These are actually compressed, like wet wipes. They're dry and compressed into this small little thing. You can get a bag of them, just carry with you in the car to use if needed. The nice thing about this is that if you did get just regular wet wipes and open the package, they eventually dry out on you. And so the nice thing about this is that you can just take it, get it wet, and it immediately springs out like that. Okay, here's our bathroom setup. So this is the Carboy water container, which I believe is 2 gallons that we got through Uline. And so these are super handy. It'd be good to have several of them for different needs around the house. We're going to be using one of these as part of a shower demonstration as well. The nice thing about it is it's not so big that you can't lift it overhead for the shower part. And so we built this little thing to just raise it up so it could go over this. This is just a old 10-quart dish pan that we had laying around. It looks grungy, but it's actually clean. So use what you have. And we have this filled up so for hand washing. And maybe that, you know, if you don't have this kind of soap that you squirt out, or you can't buy that anymore, maybe you know how to make it. But even with making soap, you're going to have to buy some ingredients ahead of time and have enough on hand to make these things. Otherwise, really stock up on soap best you can. There's a lot of cheap bars of soap. You can just buy a bunch of them. So this is just a bar of soap we have hanging around here. So the toilet part here, this is our squeeze bottle supply here is all filled up with water. We have our initials on them, so you grab your own. And our supply of cloths, we have our extra cloths up here, our Kleenexes and our toilet cloths. And then once doing your business there, you could spray your colloidal silver on here, and then you can just put it in the trash can. And this is the one with the removable insert. You can just take out and go wash. This is our hand washing station. You turn the water on, your hand's wet, and you can shut it off. Get some soap in your hand, and then turn it on again to rinse off. Try to conserve that water. And then what do you do with that water? So we have buckets in here, sitting in the bathtub for now, but we have one to collect gray water. So let's say we'll just preserve that water to use with something else, whether it's using that to help flush this eventually, or else go water the garden with it, whatever you want. And then we have these other 2 buckets that we would have filled with water already. And one's for flushing the toilet. If you don't have your water running or anything, you need to do this without that. So you pour one of those buckets in to flush, and the other one's filled with water. So once it's flushed, you got to fill that again with the other bucket, so it's ready for the next person. And so that's our bucket setup. So one nice thing about using a water technique with the spray bottle or the bidet, either one, it gets you cleaned off good enough that when you use this, there's hardly anything on it. And so when this goes in there, it makes it much easier to wash later on. And really, there's no odors, hardly any, that occur in the garbage can after that.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.